Uh, I would like to begin by remembering the national program that we co-designed together, the Youth Leadership and People Skills one. And I would like to say why it is so relevant for youth in this country today. We all know that students are under pressure for marks, they are under pressure from their parents, their teachers. Bullying and ragging is kind of considered a very macho thing to do. And this particular manual that we co-authored talks about actually the ability to develop inner capacity and confidence, skills and knowledge, and competencies and understanding. The three modules that it has deals with aspects of the self and agency, deep listening, assertiveness, and managing stress. The last module deals with intervention skills and competencies, and here we emphasize that personal transformation is important, well and good, but if we don't link it to results, then it is not going to manifest. And because we have also covered areas such as speaking powerfully, presenting ideas effectively, we are developing through this the ability to have generative conversation. This particular manual has received, I don't hesitate to say, raving reports of the impact that it has on the youngsters. The administrators who have monitored this program have consistently pointed out that trainers and youth, all of them, find this particular subject of great importance, and that it influences them to do much more. So it gets articulated in expressions like, I never thought I could express myself without fear. Today I am able to address my teachers. I have never spoken in public, etc. Apart from this, my senior citizens' work has also been impacted significantly. I have been able to set up collaborations with institutions. About 5 years ago, I started this work when it wasn't acceptable to think of training human power for working with senior citizens. But I developed commitment and resilience because this work, it brought out, my own sense of agency, and I was able to, I think, convince organizations to develop collaborations with us, to set up collaborations with us, and also to deal with doubt. At the institutional level, I would say, at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, as in every institution, there is a hierarchy of workers. And, our dining hall staff and our security staff are really considered to be, people who just have to work silently, and they are expected to show results. But really, the institution at large considers them to be at the lowest level of the pyramid. But through this work, we have worked with even this population. And recently, in a situation of crisis in the organization, the security staff actually came up to tell me that they remember that the program that they did with us, and that today it is standing by them, and they feel that they are really an important constituent. We had given them that wonderful example of whatever we give attention to grows. And at that time, they had said, no, but we've been taught always to look at our faults, whatever is less, our shortcomings. And during this period of crisis, they remembered this and they said, today we are looking at our strength. And it is our strength that is allowing us to deal with this particular situation. I think it was remarkable and extremely reassuring to see the power of this work.
Fantastic. Nasreen, I have been following this. For listeners, it's hard to get the context of the crisis that you're talking about. So this was about a student strike, and it became very, very bitter. And one of the things, Nasreen, that I did want to highlight is that just the way in which you have interacted with both faculty and students and the staff of the Institute using these methods has created a space of trust where most people don't trust anybody. And I wanted to focus on what you just said, because to me the three threads that you've spoken about, the first is the way in which you have built the capacity of the security group as well as the dining hall staff. And of course, you've worked with faculty and students. So the point I want to highlight is that when we want to transform institutions and the environment, the cultural transformation of an institution, we tend to focus just on top leadership, just on faculty in universities, or just on key leadership of the students. But in this case, what we did is we opened up the whole space. I remember you and I working together in the certificate course where we opened it up for all students, and we would have them, like 350 of them from each batch. So it was students. You and I have worked with faculty. And to me, it is your ability and your commitment to have all the members of the institution, the dining hall staff, the security, the administration people, to come and join us in this kind of work. And yes, they created breakthroughs that even at that time was so extraordinary. Thank you, Nasreen, for that. And I wanted to say one thing more about the way in which you described the work we did together, the manual we created, and the way in which we created a master trainers program, which was different because each trainer had to have breakthrough initiatives, just like a student would have to have. So there was a program that this curriculum sort of unleashed, and we had created, how many colleges did you work in, Nasreen, in all in India?
We've been able to carry this program out to more than 30 colleges across India. And during this period, we have covered, I think, at least 10,000 students through about 250 master trainers. And
yes, go ahead. Sorry.
The interesting thing, Monica, is that it's not only the students who receive the program who are impacted, but the master trainers themselves, as you said, have also had to work on breakthrough projects themselves. They have told me that it has impacted their whole perspective of looking at education per se. The way in which they view their young students today is quite different from the earlier view that they had about them. Generally, the formal education system and they were used to sort of just imparting information. But after looking at this particular work and the perspective that it gave them, they have been able to see the potential in this youth and not to regard them as empty vessels to be filled up, but youth who can take on leadership activities in the future. And they themselves feel that they are part of the nurturing process. This has immensely raised their own self-esteem and self-worth, and the master trainers are different individuals today.
Right. I recall you're telling me that. Do you want to give us a few specific statements? Like, I love the statement that you made about the security staff, saying that, we've been trained to look at our faults and what we did wrong and our shortcomings, and this work has moved us into really giving attention to what we can do, and so that space is what we activated. in managing the crisis. So what would you like to say about what faculty said?
The master trainers have generally felt that they have been able to integrate this thinking into their overall teaching and training. Indeed, the same applies to me. Once I have understood this work and worked along with you, I have realized that it's not just a personal transformation, but that I also now begin to focus on results. The master trainers themselves have pointed out that they often thought that they couldn't work on complex issues, and nothing wrong with tree planting, but more often than not, it was teaching underprivileged students or tree planting or some activity like that which they would suggest to their young students. But after doing this, they have felt emboldened and confident to take on much more complex issues relating to equality and equity, relating to discrimination in society, relating to issues of gender and the differences that they see between their male and female students. And what they have understood is that it is possible to demystify complex issues. And this is where their confidence shows. Another area that master trainers have pointed out is that they have learned to look at a total response, not just a partial response to the immediate symptom. But when they have worked with the conscious full spectrum template, they have been really able to point out that they can work at all the three levels. And when they don't, they are able to distinguish and in fact tell me that yes, we've been able to work at the operational level, but we haven't been able to change systems. And this is something amazing, and it makes me so confident of carrying this work forward. And I feel that even a summarized version of this has a very strong impact. And in fact, when we do the full 45-hour program, it has a tremendous impact.
Yes, that's so insightful, because whenever we talk of systems, Nasreen, people think that this is this whole huge space that we can do nothing about. And this work is about demystifying that space, not making it a gimmick, being serious about it, but making it simple, not simplistic. And I think that these 2 points you raise about how, master trainers who are all faculty in these colleges, and 250 of them, how they are able to explore this space of engagement for students. Because worldwide, Nasreen, that's the issue. So when students go and serve in communities, they do exactly activities, and then that's it. It's like, tree planting or, go teach underprivileged children. Not that's not meaningful. But if that does not carry with it the social issues, we are never going to deal with sexism or with classism or casteism or inequality or discrimination. And this to me is important. The ability to do something and through that activity transform the system and culture that is generating that problem to begin with. So I think that, when you say that a total response is what this work allows us to do, and it's not difficult, it's different, and it's so enduring. So thank you for those examples, Nasreen, because they apply worldwide, just like the work you've done with the dining hall staff and the security people apply worldwide. Because we're worldwide when we talk of leadership. We don't talk of everyone. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So as we talk about the challenges and results, would you like to share some of those for our listeners?
the whole area of working with authority figures is often a challenge for people.